So, as you can see, this Saturday, Wrestling in Newcastle will be hosting. Which venue is it, Stevie?
The Forest Hall Social Club.
Of course it is. And Benji, what's the show?
The Great North Rumble 2025.
Okay. And Rich, have you fixed your door yet?
No. My door handle's broke because Stevie's a brute and he wrecks.
It wasn't me.
He didn't even offer to pay. He was like, "Oh, your handle's come off."
You could say any wrestler here, and you're talking about a ring out to destroying your door. I mean, how weak does that make you look?
But
didn't even say sorry, you know.
He wasn't even bothered. He literally just flung it in and was like, "Nah, it happened."
It was like he was inconvenienced because he ripped someone's door handle off.
That's right.
He's asking me about fixed it.
Yeah.
He hasn't offered to pay for my broken door, has he?
Well, you're rich. You've got about 10 jobs.
Got free.
I go cry in your swimming pool, Rich.
In the living room while your dad's watching Match of the Day.
Gary Lineker's still on that with him on the telly.
Oh, I want to say it. Oh, we're live, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
He had a cold, Gary Lineker. Did you notice? I don't think he acknowledged it. It's like his voice. He'd lost his voice. He had a cold. It was very strange.
Poor Gary.
Anyway,
we've lost our wrestling fans now.
Yeah,
I'll get the intro.
I'd like to take this moment to just wish Gary our well wishes, and we hope you get well soon.
Because he's mates with Gary Lineker. Yeah.
Come on, you
roll the intro, guys. If this is what the first 2 minutes are like, I dread to think what the next 58 is going to be like with you guys.
It's going to be the most enjoyable time. The next 3 hours, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I just said there's not enough 3D opening sequences, is the Liam. So I commend you on that. I know I've said it before, but I do like that opening sequence. And why isn't there so much 3D anymore as there used to be? Does anyone know?
There really isn't.
No.
Like that 80s and 90s 3D. That's
yeah. It just looks. It's so clean and nice, and yeah.
Everything's just got to be like ultra realistic now, though, hasn't it?
I don't know. I've just like Raw doesn't even have an opening. I don't know what AEW do, but there's a lack of them 3D solid logos. That's what we want.
Raw's opening with Michael Cole being really somber at the moment. Like, we are here live at the.
Well, they got 3 hours to.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm not talking about Raw.
Anyway, guys, we're talking about wrestling in Newcastle, but obviously let's get it through the introductions. Stevie, how are you doing, my man? Obviously, last time we saw each other was at Grand Slam.
Yeah, I'm good, and it was good to see you there, Liam. And it was what you call a matinee because it was during the day.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm good, and I'm looking forward to Saturday.
Of course you are. And did you actually know that you've got the most appearances as a guest on this show, by the way?
Wow. How many is that? About 500.
About 8, something along them lines.
I work too cheap, don't I? That's the problem.
Yes, you do. Anyway, moving on. And of course, at the side of him is obviously the GM himself. He's got the second most appearances. Benji, how's things, my man?
Second most appearances.
There you go. How far behind are you?
There's about 3-4 shows or something like that.
It's like being the best looking guy in prison, that, isn't it?
Dear. Benji, how's your week been, my man?
It's class, yeah. Couldn't do any sort of physical activity for a week, but now I'm back at it, so enjoying it. Looking forward to Saturday.
Of course, yeah. And
a minute, why couldn't you do any physical activity for a week?
Oh, it's gross. Do you want to know?
No,
I think the viewers want to know. I think it's interesting. This.
Well, I got ringworm on my face.
Oh, face.
On my face.
So like, it had like an orifice or something. Oh.
It was there. It was on my chin, just there, just ringworm. So like, I couldn't really do much. I went to the gym, but like, still in the gym when I was like on a bench or something, it was just awkward. I couldn't fight anyone. So I'd be able to fight anyone all week until today.
You might be
So I
giving
feel
Adam Bolt ammunition here. What he's going to say about you?
Well, he's not there, is he? He's banned.
He's not, no, but he might see that. He might be watching.
He might
Surely
be.
he's watching.
He hope he's
He
not.
might be.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll talk about that. But Rich, I mean, can you top that introduction?
No. The only thing I noticed is everyone's got like a little tag underneath the name.
I know.
So now I'm like,
And your former NXT UK guy as well, and you haven't even told that.
yeah,
I could have put the logo. We need to put that on the poster. Former NXT UK referee.
Stick it on there. Like, why not?
Does that mean we have to put his picture on or not, though? Can we just put that on just by itself?
Yeah.
Just put it next to Wes, and then it looks like he's been on that and Gladiators. So.
Yes, to Wes.
Yeah, go for it. Now I can't top the ringworm story, unfortunately.
Have you not had any sort of fungal disease that you want to tell people?
No,
like,
but I've got a yellow foot at the minute. So at the weekend, at the weekend I went over on it. So on Sunday I was at A&E because I thought I broke my foot.
He's had a fall.
But because I'm getting old.
Old enough to have a fall.
He's senior official.
Senior official. Had a fall.
You know.
And yeah, so my foot's quite bruised at the minute. So, but you know what? You just got to tape it up and crack on in it. Not on this soft malarkey.
We have loads of referees, which just chill out for an event.
Just tape it up.
Yeah, but you
don't want these who goes,
NXT UK referee.
Hurt me toe, I can't do anything. Nah, you got to crack on, tape it up, get in there, job done.
Who was that? Jack, that sounded like you were having a go at someone there.
So on Saturday when he's poorly and that with his bad foot, yeah, remember he said that, not me. I told him to take it easy. Video evidence. And he's the one saying, "Oh no, I'll tape it up. I'll tape it up, brother. And I'll take it out there. And I'll cut
Oops.
No one need. We've got two other referees. Just take it easy."
He's got his big show after this as well, Liam. Are you plugging that?
I will plug that at the end, but of course, like Rich, like I said, we had a chat yesterday. I mean, I actually enjoyed it. I mean, you didn't bury anybody. I know that's what you're worried about, but hopefully you had a blast yesterday.
Yeah, it was spot on. It's going to look a bit weird though, because I've got my haircut today. Breaking news. So yesterday's, which is on after this, is going to look like
continuity errors.
I know.
Yeah, that was a TV.
It's just grown really quick over this hour.
Yeah,
and I had time to change as well. So,
Rich, you should know better doing TV turbans.
I actually considered sticking on the same shirt as yesterday.
That's what you should have done.
But
I'd have done that.
I know, but you're just ultimate professional.
Yes.
What was your? I bet you get asked this, but I'm going to ask anyway because I can't remember. What was your WE name?
Will Charlton. We literally got a last minute call, being like, "Yeah, so everyone needs new names." So I'd put loads together. I'd put one together. Well,
they picked it for him.
Yeah, well,
he wrote them down, and then they
Will, because both my granddads were called Will. So I was like, yeah, stick that in. And I was like, just looking for like a northernish name. I was like, Charlton, Bobby Charlton, Jack Charlton. So
do you not want to do like a mint rib on someone and like pick their name on the indies?
Yeah, so I considered it.
That's what Drew McIntyre did.
But it was more of a surprise that when I picked the name that I was thinking I was going to have, the person it was, I was like, no deal. Not happening.
Oh, well. What did you want?
Well, no, because then it'd be saying who there's no way I wanted it associated with. So.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
He should have just wrote Shawn Michaels.
But it did also turn out when I searched Will Charlton, right? When I searched Will Charlton, after it'd already been okayed, there was someone from Sunderland who had just been locked up with that name. So,
oh no!
Yeah. Someone from Sunderland, that could be half of Sunderland. You know what I mean?
I tell you what, you're not the only referee to have said something like that to have happened. But I won't. I digress. Sorry, but yeah, you got to be careful.
Yeah, very, very careful.
Yeah. So Will Charlton lasted all of about 6 months.
Oh well.
Yeah. Should have called yourself like something like Mark Mathers just to take the mick. You know what I mean? Just as a rib on him. You
and
can't
get a cease and desist.
You know what I mean? Because
so you were only there 6 months, Rich.
No, we were we had our own names for probably the first 18 months. It was only towards the back end.
Did the commentators announce you as your real name? Or?
So it wasn't until like the back end that they started using referee names.
Yeah,
and I think that's one of the reasons why. What? Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say there was that time period when they were told not to give.
So initially, like we weren't really mentioned. It was just like the referee. But at the back end, we started to notice that they were mentioning some of the referees on main roster and on XT, and then that was starting to funnel down to us. And they were like, right, so we need new names. If we're going to call you a name, it can't be your own. So obviously, it doesn't count for some of the more senior officials like Charles Robinson and people like that. But the majority of the referee roster came up with new names.
You got a trading card, didn't you? You were on a trading card.
Yeah, but right, I'm fuming about this as well, right?
What are we talking
everyone else, like Tom, he's probably on 3 or 4, maybe even more trading cards, and it's clear as day him in the background. Right?
Hang on, Tom who? You have
Scarborough.
Right.
So Chris Sharp's on them, Artemis is on them.
Yeah, loads, Chris Sharp's a big name.
Yeah.
Loads of them are on them, and it's clear as day as them. I'm on with Flash, and the rope just goes through my head. I know it's me because no one has my chin.
So
I'm also buzzing because technically I've made it onto a trading card.
And that one could be worth a lot, like the infamous C-3PO Star Wars one. I don't know if...
Oh, yeah.
I won't...
I know about that one.
Look it up because we can't talk about that, but...
Yeah, it's like being Mike from Monsters, Inc. Where just every time he thinks he's made it,
he's on the picture, and then he's that's right.
Yeah. So it's very much like that.
Very
but so I got hold of a couple, and I think I even got one where it's like 1 out of 10, and it's literally just got a different border. That's it. But yeah. So I'm buzzing about it, but it's also a little bit embarrassing that I'm buzzing about it because it's literally like.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got gifted a WWE trading card, but it wasn't Rich Swift.
I've got a few of them ones, so if you want one, I can get you one.
I have got this rare. How many is it? Number 6 of 10. Simon Dean. Signed by Simon Dean. That's what I've got. It's good.
I've been drinking with him. Who cares? Right.
Anyway, back to the business. This is what happens when you bring 3 people like this on the show. We just go off the rails. But you know what? Let's just roll it. That's absolutely fine. So before we obviously get into the Great North Rumble, Stevie, we've just had obviously Grand Slam and stuff like that. How was the day for you?
It was strange. It was kind of chaotic. It was all kinds of things. The weather was so bad that weekend. You know, Ben will tell you how stressful it was. You know, we had some ups and downs, I think, during the day. But you know what? As I said later on, there wasn't. I didn't hear it. Ben might say different, but there wasn't a crossword. There wasn't. I didn't hear any particular, raised voice argument. People wanted everything to work, and it did. When we were done, I think there was a sort of sigh of relief, just because everything going against us was, and we came together, made it happen. And when you look it back and look, it's there. It's it's a day we'll never forget. And the fans, the ones that came were well up for it. I can understand. As I say, the weather was bad. I think if you don't mind me saying this, Ben, I think we probably sold more tickets than there were people there in the end. But
it was not, obviously we got 500 in our original sale, and then the show got moved, and obviously we had a lot drop off there, and then. With we still had a solid number. It was like, oh yeah, that's fine. And then we put out chairs for the amount of people that were there. But yeah, the storm just absolutely ravaged everything. The shows cancelled up and down the country, and we still managed, to pull it together. And we had little emergencies where we didn't think people might make it on the day, and they were telling us that they might not make it, and we had to think on our feet and try and move stuff around if that did happen, and we had contingencies for all that stuff, but. Yeah, it was a stressful day, but we got there in the end, and we provided a good quality event for the people who attended it. So
absolutely. Yeah. Rich, what was it like for you?
Yeah, it was fab. Obviously, being part of the team, there were some of those logistics that needed sorting out. But to be honest, seeing how the team comes together and then how everyone on our roster wants to be a part of the roster. So whether people no matter what, whenever you speak to them, they're all pleased to be a part of wrestling in Newcastle. They all want it to go from strength to strength. And you sometimes find when you're part of a new promotion, people are quite hesitant, which is understandable because we see it all the time where you get a new promotion last 1-2 events, might say they start and then they don't even start. But from word go, once from that very first event, when you got the core people in, straight away they could see what the team were trying to do, what Ben's been building. So I think everyone knows what's expected of them, but also where we can possibly go with it. So it's really exciting to be a part of anyway. Obviously, there was a bit of the faff on having to change a date, but just even thinking about looking to the future, this year, there's no reason why the company can't go from strength to strength.
Yeah. Anything to add on that, boys?
No, I think we've done really well. Our first event that we had, we obviously booked 3 events, and one of them fell on quite a big day in the region, and it was on the same day as North and their first Thunderstruck, where they were hoping to get 750 people in, and we hadn't even run a show at that point, and we had everyone booked, and instead of turning around and going, hey, we're not going to do this event, because there's a show down the road, doing this, we just moved all the times, did the event, and a lot of them went over that event afterwards.
Yeah.
And we made we made the best of that moment. Yeah, we probably didn't have the house that we could have had at the time, but we still had it go ahead on that date at that time.
Yeah. And if you looked at both of those events, you'd see actually that quite a few of the wrestling Newcastle roster were also on Thunderstruck, including Benji and myself. So
so I had to go there that day, run the event, and then leave at half time with giving the right people who have the skills at the event, giving them ownership of the stuff, and going, I need to go over there now and wrestle on that event. Yeah. So that was a really hectic day for me, and same with Rich as well. Rich refereed, was it the first half, and then the second half you shut off, and we still, like I said, every wrestler who booked on that event still got the booking. All the fans who bought a ticket still turned up and watched an event, and that's what we try and do, and that's what we try to do with Grand Slam. Try not to disappoint.
And that's the important thing about having a good referee team for me, that we can trust them to, if for whatever reason I couldn't be there at all, I'd be confident to say with Katie, Sandy, some of the referees we discussed yesterday, that I could trust them. And I'm sure Benji feels the same when it comes to when he had to shoot off. There were members of the team there who made sure the ship sailed smooth.
Yeah.
100%. So, obviously, I think the show goes live on the YouTube channel tomorrow, if I remember rightly, Benji. So, which matches would you recommend people checking out the most on that show card? Because I've got my favourite on that.
Well, I mean, where to start? Obviously, Rampage Brown versus Nathan Cruz. That was pro wrestling for me. That's the type of pro wrestling I like. Also, cool things that you probably won't see elsewhere, like Alexander Henry versus Robbie X. That's just 2 people you probably never see wrestle anywhere else. To a win match. And then obviously the main event as well. I thought that was great, and that tag match. I mean, everything. I'm going to keep going on. I think it was all good. I don't think there was anything that let anyone down. It was really good.
Yeah,
but yeah, just watch it all. It's only 2.5 hours, so it's not that long.
Stevie, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, just as I've said before on previous shows and whatnot, the fact that I've just been around Rampage and Nathan Cruz for so many years, and then it was speaking to them both behind the scenes, and I won't give away too much, but it was quite you just live it. You do this, and you don't sort of think about little things, and you don't sort of live in the moment, so to speak. A lot of the time, you're just trying to get through it. That's just the truth, and I don't think there's enough times where we just sort of stop and realize what we're doing and look around, and then just to see them both in the ring. And spoiler or anything, it kind of is, but just to see them sort of embrace at the end, and it actually does mean something to them. And one of the misconceptions I think about pro wrestling, more so to people who don't watch it and casual fans, is it doesn't really mean that much to them. And as my old man used to always say, "Oh, they'll be going for a drink together after this," and it's like, yeah, that's true, but more so because it's people sort of trusting each other with their own bodies, with their own minds as well. And to see those two, and I've seen them wrestle all over the country, many a times, different places, against each other, teaming with each other and everything in between. And it just really meant a lot. But I really want to give a shout out to that main event though as well, because Shreddy and our champion, Brady Phillips, whatever you think of him, the fact that they went out and they did as Ben said to me after the event, and I certainly felt the same way. I don't know what term you want to use, but it was a proper, main event in terms of, structure and the timing. It was a 25-minute match, and not everybody's doing that. And I think, and I don't want to, get on my shoebox or anything. We do see too many 20-minute matches on television every week, but I think, your main event of a big event, one that's been built up like that, it means more when it goes, 20, 25 minutes. I think it's you want to see if somebody can go that long. And I'm not picking on Shreddy when I say this, but to look at him, he does have that bodybuilder look. He does have that intensity, and you think how long can this guy last? How long can he do the 20, 25 minutes? And he's proven that, I think. And that's going to do him, wonders going forward. Just that footage, and I know behind the scenes we were talking about it when Ben, you were mentioning it the other day. Just the people who might have seen or might get to see that match once it goes online and stuff. I think it's very important. Oh, yeah. And not to knock on. It comes to mind that old thing about what Kevin Nash said about Goldberg, and I'm not knocking Goldberg or anything, but. The comment about, we struggle to get 15 minutes out of him. I think it's good that you can have somebody who, maybe you sometimes do want to see those shorter matches, but, when he's against an opponent like the caliber of Brady, and, it's a champion and it's a big championship match and it's your biggest event you're effectively promoting, you want to be able to see them do the longer than the 5 minutes. You want to see 20, 25 minutes.
100%. Rich, anything to add on that?
Yeah, I can't echo enough how good that Rampage and Nathan Cruz match was. And similar to Stevie, like known Rampage for years now. He's my coach. So to be in the ring with two people hard classes, arguably the best heavyweights in the country, and being the best heavyweights in the country for the last decade and then some, that's always going to be a bit of a highlight for me. Seeing Shreddy and Brady Phillips go at it, to be honest, from top to bottom, the entire event was banging like. So
yeah, 100%. I mean, I actually liked Ivy's match, by the way. I feel like that was one I really got involved in and stuff. That's, obviously, we know Ivy's now stepped aside from wrestling, but I mean, what can you say? I mean, she's a Karen, do you know what I mean? But that's probably one of my favorites.
She's a heat machine, and when she came out, I mean, it just, the crowd came alive and just hatred for her, and she was brilliant. And I even said to her, I think it was probably on Facebook in the comments when she said, this is her last match that she wrestled the other week, and it's like, it's selfish, but it's like, it feels like a waste, it's like, come back, we need you, because just the reaction that she gets, and speaking to her on the day about her, she said, this is, my last appearance as a wrestler. Obviously we didn't make that public, for wrestling in Newcastle anyway. It's gonna be a loss to the promotion, I think.
Oh, massively, yeah.
100%. So we have to talk about this Adam Bolt. He's obviously suspended, Benji. I mean, I'm not sure how much you can obviously say about this.
Well, he's interfered in 2 big matches, hasn't he? 2 huge matches. What do you do for that? He was on the graphic originally to be in the Rumble, and we decided to remove him. And hopefully that teaches him a lesson. He won't be at the Great North Rumble. He doesn't get to have a shot at the title. So yeah, start again, Adam.
Now, Stevie, correct me if I'm wrong. He's going to be at Bulletproof.
He said he's going to be at Bulletproof. Yeah, I've seen what he said online, and he had some choice words there. I don't know what Benji thinks of that, but this is Adam Bolt's going to be there regardless. I don't know if he's going to be in a match or what the situation's going to be, but he's coming back.
Fortunately.
To be honest, it's good to have people like Benji in charge here because you've got guys like Adam Bolt who are regularly.
What a suck up this Rich Swift is.
No, you're getting all these undone tactics making the job of the referee a little bit harder. So the fact that we've got Benji there saying,
what some of these wrestlers are like, they'll blame the referee for everything, they'll blame management for everything, and they don't take account their own actions.
Yeah, take responsibility.
How is it my fault that he has to get involved in stuff that he shouldn't be involved in? How is that my fault?
Your decision. I mean, how many times do you see, people get involved in matches and then they're back in a title picture the next month? Well done for making a choice decision there. But we'll just see how Bolt feels about it in April, I guess.
Yeah. So I'm going to end obviously one final question for that, Benji, is how far is it going to push you to a point where you're going to have to wrestle him at some point? Let's be honest.
I'm not a wrestler. This isn't. Do you think I could run an event like this and then wrestle as well? No way. How could I do that?
I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, I don't think our insurance, would cover what I would do to him either. So we'll just.
Ouch.
Wreck.
Yeah, I don't really know where to go with that now.
Oh.
Let's get to the show, shall we? So, Stevie, obviously with the Great North Rumble, obviously stuff like that. I mean, storylines last year has obviously played the part for last year. So, could we see more storylines like start up at Great North Rumble again?
Well, I mean, you never know. I don't know who your favourite is, Liam, and obviously we'll get onto the main event. It'd be good to go through the undercard matches as well. But yeah, I mean, you've got a situation here, particularly in the title picture, and again, we can talk about that where the keg stacker, he's had his title shot on the back burner. A lot of people thought that Zio Knox might defeat him and take that title shot, but it didn't happen at Grand Slam, and now he's finally cashed in, for lack of a better term, for it. And who would have thought, when he won last year, coming in at number 1 and going all the way, winning the thing, it would take a year before he would challenge whoever was champion, and it is still Brady Phillips. I mean, let's not forget that the man's been unreal. He's been the champion for over a year now, and shows no signs of slowing down. But will Kegstacker be the one to defeat him? We'll have to see.
Exactly. And Benji, I mean, that last obviously North Rumble, there was some big hitters in that. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, there was. There's a point I think when Kemper came out, and it was just like, oh yeah, that ring's full, isn't it? It was huge. Don't think you get to see that many Rumbles with that many heavyweights in at once.
Yeah. Rich, anything to add on what they've just said?
No. I think when you look at everyone in that Rumble, it'd be hard. We always going to have our favourites, but it's hard to pick, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Let's get over to the match breakdown, shall we? So, match number 1, of course, is Scotty Rock versus Ian Skinner. Winner gets number 20, loser gets number 1. Now, Rich, if I remember rightly, the last one, Scotty Rock obviously got taken out at the last Rumble. So, and bearing in mind, Reese and Rogan are at this show. So, is he got a points proving away?
Yeah, regardless of him being injured at the last one, everybody's got a point to prove. Everyone wants to be the number one contender. So Scotty's an incredible talent. There's no denying that. But like I say, it'd be unfair to say that he's the only one for point to prove. Like everyone is going to be betting on themselves to walk away with that number one contendership at the end.
Okay. Benji?
Yeah, so we missed out a key detail here.
Yeah,
the Rumble match starts straight after this match as well. So
Yeah,
if you lose this match, you've got to stay in the ring, and then number 2, and the Rumble comes down. So straight away. Wow. So that's obviously going to hinder you in that Rumble. But both these men have signed up for this.
I didn't know if I was able to say that, Ben. So I'm glad you have.
Both the men signed up for this. They understand, the risk and reward, and they're both willing to do it. So yeah, you've got to, admire them for that at least. But it's the ultimate reward or number 1 straight away.
Wow. Steve, anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting situation because Scotty Rock, I mean, he's had his title shot, going back to sometime Showdown and stuff, and Ian Skinner's guy that you wouldn't expect. Maybe I don't know, one of the favorites. Maybe if he's a bit devious about it, but in terms of the numbers game, let's ignore the fact that the loser starts the match at number 1 and the winner comes out at number 20. Let's look at the fact that they've got to wrestle a singles match before the Great North Rumble immediately after. I mean, even if you win this thing, the adrenaline pumping, physical match, and then you come back out in just a short period of time. We've got 90-second intervals. It goes fast, and it really does. Being a part of last year's event, I'm looking at the sheet and I see number 20 is due next, and it's like heck. Everybody's out already, so this is not going to benefit the winner in a way that the fans might think it might, and even the wrestlers involved think it might. So there's maybe a cup of coffee waiting for you in the dressing room area, but that's it. You got to go back through that curtain, so it's going to take a lot out of both men, I feel.
Yeah, definitely interesting concept. So I'm going to put a spotlight, obviously, on Ian Skinner. I mean, Benji, the feud with Henry last year was probably one of my absolute favourite feuds, throughout, obviously, wrestling Newcastle. And it came, obviously, from the North Rumble.
Oh, yeah, it was him giving it the big one, saying he was going to win the Rumble on his debut, giving it the big one. But you see what happened. He got eliminated. It was by Henry, right? And then he was underhandedly helped eliminate Henry. So yeah, these things can happen in Rumbles. A lot of people in there at once. A lot of combustible elements. These things can happen.
Yeah, Rich.
Yeah, just to be honest, Ian's one of the standouts for me over the last year. So I know you mentioned his match with Henry there, but that's one that I wasn't refereeing that one, but to be able to be out in the crowd just to observe that, it was outstanding. And that's one I'd definitely recommend for anyone to go back on YouTube and seek that one out, because it was fantastic.
Yeah, all 4 men have very similar styles as well, and I don't know where else you would see that tag match. It was a good one that we could put out there.
Yeah, Stevie, we obviously spoke to you after settle the score about that match. We said straight away that was probably my favourite match of that show.
Yeah, we underestimated both men, I feel, as well. I did, I admit that, and I even said it to them afterwards. And it was definitely a standout. And Henry Faust now, his popularity, to move the subject on. Ian Skinner might be hated, but Henry Faust, he gets a bigger reaction every time he comes out. And I know that's cliche, but it's absolutely true. Where does he go from here? What about Henry Faust in the title picture? You just don't know what's going to happen. And I don't think it's I don't think it's out of the question at all now. He's definitely proven himself the last year.
100%. Now we're sticking with Henry. That obviously leads on to our next match, which is the tag match: Joe Wade and Henry Faust versus Reese and Rogan. Rich, I'll start with you. Reese and Rogan's probably one of the top tag teams I can probably think of in the UK right now. So this is going to be a big test for these two.
Yeah, Reese and Rogan are quality. They're proper, old-fashioned tag team. They completely get what they are and the art of being an incredible tag team. So the fact that they're a part of our roster, you always know they're going to be bringing it. And Henry and Joe, two really good guys. But it's going to be some hard work going against two guys like Reese and Rogan.
They are only, they did win at Grand Slam, you know. They're both Henry. When was the last time Henry lost? It was against Ian, wasn't it? And Joe won on his debut too. Joe's undefeated at the moment, and Henry is on a hot streak. You know, I agree with you. I think Reese and Rogan, one of the best tag teams in Europe. You know, and two Smash Mouth tag teams as well. With an old school Smash Mouth versus the new school. You know, it'll be good to see what happens here. What will this look like?
Yeah, I mean, Stevie, we've obviously spoke about tag teams on previous shows as well. I mean, big challenge for them.
Yeah, but Ben's right. I mean, Joe Wade, Henry Faust, they're like a proper tag team, as we might say in the North. Obviously, Reese and Rogan, I can't say enough good things about them, and they are Yorkshire tough and all that. And they say, we're proper tag team as well. But both of these teams are, minus maybe the gear for Joe Wade and Henry Faust, but they could be a formidable tag team if they wanted to be all over the country. So this is really a match that it could be. What's the term? I don't know if it's a hidden gem or we're expecting it to be good, so that's probably the wrong thing to say. But maybe the sleeper match of the night, steals the show. Wouldn't be shocked. I think it's going to be exciting stuff.
Yeah, this is probably one I'm looking forward to. Like I said, I'm a massive fan, obviously, of tag team wrestling and stuff like that. And huge fan of Reese and Rogan. And like you mentioned there, Henry's obviously on a massive winning streak. So, and again, I'll be honest, this is the one where I can't pick a winner. Could there be an upset? I'm just throwing it out there.
Again, I don't even know if I would call it an upset. Watching Grand Slam back, and obviously everybody watching this, please do, and see what you think, because there's a new team on the block, and Reese and Rogan, hopefully they'll do their homework.
Yeah. Okay. Next one. So next up we've got is Angel Hayes versus Casey Owens. Now I had to do a bit of research for this because I couldn't remember when Angel Hayes was last on, obviously, win, which was Gauntlet for the Gold 23. So she's been out for quite a while. So there's two wrestlers who's coming back who's not been here a while. Benji.
Yeah, Angel's someone that we've wanted to have him win for a long time. Since she was at Gauntlet for the Gold. She's an amazing wrestler, but it's hard to pin her down. She's popular and in demand. So yeah, we've got her for the Rumble, and we've got Casey. I think it's, again, in putting those two in there, it's going to be really interesting. Two completely different characters, two completely different people, two styles that couldn't be, any further apart if you tried. It's going to be one of them where it's like two opposites collide. I think it'll be really good.
Yeah, absolutely. Steve, I mean, it absolutely baffles me how young Angel is.
Yeah, it seems that there was a bit of a gap, I think, in talent, and by all means, Rich, you can disagree with me if you want. I'm picking on Rich because I know that obviously where you've been and where you've worked and whatnot. It seems like there was a bit of a generational gap, I feel, in women's wrestling in particular. Obviously, we had the periods, and we were talking about it the other night, just, with British wrestling and people went in their own directions, following maybe, 2016, 2017. And you kind of knew where you were with the talent that you would, the kind of talent you would see all over the country. And then, we come back after COVID, and the landscape's almost unrecognizable. And I mean that in a kind of positive way as well, because we do speak a lot, in group chats and whatnot. If Benji and Rich don't mind me saying, about women's wrestling, who's out there, who's looking good, and there's so much young talent right now, that we need to tap into and get them on more events and develop that talent and whatnot. And again, this is a match. I think out of all the matches, though, going back to this particular match, probably the most unpredictable in terms of who wins, who's going to capture the imagination of the fans. I think it's going to be a really interesting year if given discussions, and I won't give anything away, but in terms of women's wrestling in Newcastle, we'll see where it goes.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to try and showcase it. I'll tell you, we're going to try and showcase women's wrestling a lot more. We want more women involved in wrestling Newcastle in 2025. And yeah, we want to start a proper division where there's multiple women's matches on the card, and there's things going on in different places. And yeah, I think it's something that we've really been missing as a new company. I think it's something that we really need to start to address, and that's what we're going to try and do in 2025. And this is a good start for Angel and Casey, because if either of those get a win, then that puts them in good stead, going forward, for any opportunities that do arise.
Yeah, over to you, Rich.
100% agree. It's one of those things where it's about making it worthwhile, and I think by starting this year with Angel Hayes and Casey Owens, I think that's kind of putting the marker down, because for me, they're two of the best in the country. Different parts of the career now. Casey's been around a little while now, and again, I think she's an outstanding wrestler. And Angel was one of those where even during lockdown, herself, Myla Grace, and Lizzie, they were brought into NXT UK with me, and you could see you can just see how good Angel is. So the fact that from early doors here, we said, right, that's someone we want to get in, but obviously a schedule is chocker, and it's chocker for a reason. The fact that we're saying, right, we're able to get her back now, I think it's really setting a marker for the start of the year for us, and the direction of women's wrestling for wrestling in Newcastle.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Steve, there's so many great, obviously, women wrestlers in the UK. We could have a full blown hour about it. Do you know what I mean? And it is pretty strong. It's good to see, isn't it?
It is, because I discover somebody new every week, at least, just from the people I speak to and they send me footage. And I don't, unfortunately, because of the way the world is now, you don't always get to see full matches, but there's definitely people who've definitely worked on their look, definitely worked on, their persona for again, I'd rather say that than character. There's people who are really, pulling down deep what's inside and showing that. And I think that's more important than what we used to see, where people would, I'm not taking any shots at anyone in particular, but you would see people just saying, well, what's my gimmick? What kind of thing can I do? And it becomes almost like, what you call cosplay now, I suppose. And I'm not seeing that as much now. I'm seeing people who it might be just something that they're ticking off, but I believe it. Does that make sense? Because they're performing it in a particular way. It's themselves. It's not disingenuous. That's how I feel about Casey Owens when she comes out and she does her entrance and everything. It's like this. She means it. There's a difference between this and someone else somewhere else.
That's Casey Owens, isn't it? That's what you're trying to say.
It's her. Yeah, it's 100% her. And you might speak to her and she might be really lovely to you. And I'm not saying she's this dark character that you're gonna walk into, but you believe her, and that's so important. And that's the difference between the people who make it and the people who don't.
Okay, Rich.
Yeah, just to add to that, now the world's reopened, seeing all these people getting opportunities all over the place, people investing in themselves, betting on themselves, going back over to Japan, whether that be Stardom, Senai Girls, you've got people going over to the US, even just to go places to train with people. And I think not just with women's wrestling, with men's wrestling as well, people are just getting out there again, and they just... You see some people and they want to be a sponge. They want to learn from everyone. And yeah, I just think it's a really exciting time, actually. And there's some great opportunities coming for a lot of people.
It scares me when they tell me their age, though, or the year they were born. That's the only scary thing. It's like, what? That was last week.
Yeah, you find out how old you are, don't you?
Yeah, it's like, what? But anyway.
Benji, anything to add?
No, I think everyone covered that pretty well.
Okay. Next up we've got is, of course, Shreddy versus Rampage Brown. So, Benji, we aren't giving too much away. This is a fallout from Grand Slam.
I think we have to give it away. We don't have to give out what happens. It's fine. It's happened. People can go watch it. It's fine. But yeah, obviously, this is a grudge match. You know, this is two guys that want to fight. We don't know why Rampage did what Rampage did. You know, I don't think Shreddy knows why he did it, but I'm sure we're gonna find out. You know, at the Great North Rumble. This is one of the matches where, you know, we've got this Rumble main event. Might not get there. You know, it depends how this goes. You know, this could be mega explosive. Yeah, two guys that hate each other. You know, Rampage Brown cost Shreddy a year's work. He's been putting that graft in to get that title shot, and he gets it. And this is what happens. You know, you don't just get handed title shots. You know, you've got to earn them. You know, no Shreddy has to start again. You know, he's wrestled Brady once. You know, put him back in there again, and he loses again. Then he might never get another title shot. So, you know, we have to. Shreddy might think he wants another title shot straight away, but you don't want to be jumping straight back into there. So he's got this score to settle now with Rampage, and we'll see where this goes. You know, wow, it's going to be a tremendous fight, I think.
Yeah, and it's not just a grudge match because he cost him the title. I mean, that alone, knowing Shreddy, how riled up he's going to be over that. Like Benji said, it's been a year in the making for Rampage to come out and do what he did. But there is that betrayal as well, because Rampage has been one of Shreddy's coaches. So someone you'd think was going to build him up and want to see one of his guys go to the top. The fact that he's come in there and cost him like that.
You've seen Shreddy when he was in Japan, you know. He sent us a video addressing Brady Phillips, and he was in Japan wrestling, you know, legends, and the win title was still on his mind, you know. He's still thinks stuff that happened with Brady that was still on his mind. And Grand Slam was meant to be, you know, his triumphant return from Japan, winning the gold, setting things right with Brady. And this is what it's turned into. So, see what happens.
100%. I mean, Stevie, it's two heavy hitters, let's be honest.
Yeah, and they're going to go 100 miles an hour. I mean, you know, we talk about Shreddy and Rampage. Shreddy and Rampage putting on these epic matches back at Grand Slam, but on this particular event on Saturday, Great North Rumble, it's you know, that is a rumble in itself, just these two, and Shreddy wants answers. I'm not sure he's going to get them, but he's going to go all out. You know, he's going to want to tear Rampage up, and probably doesn't even care about the win in this one. He just wants to finish him, get back into the title picture.
Yeah, we're going to have our hands full.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm expecting this one to be thrown out because they're just going to absolutely destroy each other. I'm just going to say that.
Well, I'm sure Rich is prepared for the worst. Yeah, you're going to make a judgment call.
Are you sure you're going to be all right to do this one with your three?
I'll tape it up.
Are you sure you don't want me to get
let him go on this one, Rich. That's my.
As long as they stay away from my foot, I'll be all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't throw it out. We want a winner.
Well,
yes,
that's on
them. Make me come out there and restart this match. You know.
Well,
we'll see. So next up, we've got is Brady Phillips versus Kegstacker for the win title. I mean, the thing is, he won it obviously at the Great North Rumble, but it's like a year later he's cashed in. I mean, what's going on here, Steve? I can't really explain.
I don't know. I mean. Go on, Ben.
It's because, like, so Kegstacker's never won a singles match. Never won a singles match. How can he win a title? And at Grand Slam, he beat Theo Knox. That's his first win in singles action. And now he's got to go against Brady Phillips.
What's that? Sorry, Ben, I've cut you off there. What did you say?
Now he's going to go against Brady Phillips.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen that he's obviously, very
He's won
durable.
one match.
Yeah, he won the Rumble and he's won multi-man matches.
One singles match, yeah.
And then he's won a singles
match. It also
match.
shows he can win when it matters.
It does. That is true.
I know every match matters, but when it comes to the big uns, he was an underdog for the Rumble. He won it.
Maybe he's a prize fighter. If there's a prize on the line, then he turns up. He switches on, goes into another gear.
It's what the best football teams do, though. Yeah, they put the best sides out for the most important games. So
that is true. So, but yeah, I mean, he's going to be turning up, isn't he, on wrestling the best that we've got? So we'll see what happens. But I mean, last year, I know how much that means to Keg Stacker. At the end of that event, when he won the Rumble and he ran around that ring with his child on his shoulders, that's something that he'll remember for the rest of his life. But if he wins on Saturday, then I'm sure that will be the biggest achievement that he's had so far. Like, we might get a repeat of the last year running around the shoulders, and this time his kid will be holding the win title. Who knows?
Wow.
Like, I know that could be in the back of his mind. It'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, Rich, love him or hate him, Brady Phillips, do you know what I mean? Phenomenal talent, do you know what I mean? Every challenge he's been faced with, he's knocked it down regardless.
Yeah, so again, going back from the very start, before I'd even worked for him here, there was no denying the talent he's got. Then he had his first encounter with Dane Allmark, which was another absolute classic. Again, go back, watch it. It's on YouTube. So we know what he's capable of. For some reason, he's now decided that he's using a few more dirty tactics to get those wins, but he's that good. So it's a shame sometimes when you see it happen, to be honest. But yeah, it's going to be a rough night for Keg, but it could be the greatest of nights for Keg. So it just needs to bring that A game.
Exactly. Steve?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing more to say, I think, other than, hopefully Keg's been preparing for this. He certainly has been preparing in terms of having multiple singles matches, but, he won when it mattered in December, and maybe that was a test for himself, to get through that. He put the title shot on the line. He had to prove it to himself. He did that. He won the match, and now we're in a position where he says, right, if I can do that, I can do this. So let's see what happens. Could be the new wrestling in Newcastle champion, and that changes everything. It really does.
Exactly. Benji?
Yeah, just like to echo what he said, really. It's going to be an interesting one. It can go either way. If Keg Stacker turns up, there's 20 other men on that night that are wanting to be in Keg Stacker's place. They're going to a match so that they can do what Keg Stacker is doing on that night. So, it's a lot of pressure on him. But like I said, he's turned up last time. There was pressure on him. He turned up. All that pressure on him, and he turned up. So, let's see what happens.
Exactly. So we've got one more match obviously to cover, and of course it is the 20-man Royal Rumble. I think I said Royal Rumble, 20-man Rumble match. I don't know why I said that, but I mean,
not that royal in the north.
Benji, some obviously names already confirmed: Scotty Rowe, Alexander Henry, Mark Mathers, Henry Faust, Ian Skinner, Kemper, Tim Strange, Kez Evans, Levy, HD Drake, Zio Knox, Busick, Jack Bandicoot, Joe Wade, Sebastian Mercer, Joe Cedric, and 4 more yet to be announced. So there's some big names here, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah, when you look down that list, there's multiple winners, isn't there? Like, there's a lot. Most of those people win, you wouldn't really be surprised. Them spots aren't, we could make this a 30-man Rumble and, put people in that, probably don't deserve to be in there, and, but we haven't. We've trimmed it down 20, 20 of the best that we have. And there's people who, could have great opportunities, like Joe Sedgwick, Seb. Last time they were here, they were in a tag match, didn't go their way. But this is a huge opportunity for them. You know, that's what Rumbles should be about. These guys can come here and walk away with a #1 contendership shot, straight at the top of the rankings, and they could be champion on the next event. You know, they could cash it in and go against Brady on the next event. It's all to play for. And there's some people in there where you would want to see them as the #1 contender. Like, could you imagine Kemper, you know, as, you know, the #1 contender? You know, Kemper versus Kegstacker, Kemper versus Brady Phillips. You know, it's big men.
Yeah. I just want to emphasize this, by the way, that Kemper is actually my pick to win it.
Oh, okay.
So,
and you know what, if Scotty, I'm sure, he'll want an actual shot at Brady. I know he did have that championship opportunity against him, but he did have to go through a 3-way match before that, triple threat match, where now he could win this and he gets a an actual shot where he doesn't have to wrestle beforehand. You know, he injured his leg in that triple threat as well. I was holding him back, and he was really close, really close to taking that title. You know, so it's, again, he's in there. He could beat Ian, walk himself straight at number 20, and then he's got the best opportunity to win that. You know, so, and if Ian wins, then I'm sure we won't hear the end of it. Sure, we'll be listening to that for the entire year. Sure,
he's a guy who wouldn't have him straight away either.
Nah, he'd be all that over everyone. Yeah, he would. See what goes on.
yeah. I mean, Rich, like I said, we spoke about it yesterday. Some phenomenal talent. Any one of these deserve to win it, let's be honest.
Yeah, and it's easy for us to have our favourites. If we were betting, who would potentially have the better odds? But we've got to look. Would we have said Kegstacker was one of the favourites last year? And we've already said that everyone in this Rumble is there for a reason. And I just think, for me, we talked about it yesterday, and I mentioned Tim. It's like his first time back in a while. He was main event at the very first Wrestling in Newcastle event. So if I was betting, maybe I'd lean towards him myself. But it'd be a tough one.
Why it's 20 men, because Tim Strange is in it. Because he is 20 men.
Yeah.
He is a big boy, and don't forget. I know I haven't mentioned Tim, but don't forget about Tim Strange. You know, it's going to take something to get him over that top rope, isn't it? I know we say this about Rumbles, but come on, man, and nobody's picking him up and just hiring him over the top ladder. It'll take something extraordinary to get rid of him. Yeah. You know, hopefully for Tim, he gets a late number or something, because you know that could be his downfall. Well, if he gets number 2, number 3, you know, maybe that's what does take him out. But you know, it's one of those matches where anything can happen. It's chaotic. You know, it's the most chaotic event we've got of the year in it. Again, you don't know who's going to win the title match. You don't know who's going to win the Rumble. You know, win could look completely different come, you know, the next event, Bulletproof. We don't know. Could go, you know, either way.
And even like Stevie, in the match itself, storylines could be, big in. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's right, and that's always the fun thing about these kind of matches. You know, there's two guys who haven't been in the ring against each other. Obviously, it's every man for himself. Something happens, somebody gets eliminated. Something goes wrong. That maybe they try to work together and it doesn't work out, and you find a situation where you've got the blood boiling, and you've got a new personal rivalry. That's always the fun thing about these matches, as well as seeing who's coming next, seeing who's going to win. I always like that aspect of. I'm glad you brought that up, Liam. Yeah,
friends and foes can be made. You might team up with someone during the Rumble, but hey, let's form a tag team. And go from here.
I mean, look at the names there. We haven't talked about that. You've got Henry Faust in the match, and his partner's in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got the goth boy in there, Joe Wade. So could they have a falling out?
You've also got more people that get to be revealed.
What's that? People
You've
who
also
need,
got-
yeah. I mean, you know, I've been in some of these matches before.
Oh, me too.
If my foot wasn't bad, I'd have put my name in the hat.
Oh, okay.
There's nothing
I'll
stopping
remember
you
that.
from drawing a
If we
number on the
need to,
jersey.
I'll wrap it up and then we'll see. But
I'll add you into the triple threat if you want, and the Scotty Rock and Ian Skinner match if you want. I'll add you in there. You might get that number 20
Just to get in the rumble.
No.
I don't think it's worth it.
yeah, it's mine. Don't worry about it. Maybe next time.
Fair enough.
Rich, I'm going to throw the question to you. Obviously, I can't throw it to Benji. Obviously, he's in charge and stuff. Who's your winner? Who do you think's going to win the Rumble?
I don't know. Like in the last year or 2 years where Tim's been away, I just think he's gone away and he's had a fight, and I just think he's going to be bringing something. I just don't know. I've just got a feeling with Tim. But again, could we say an underdog? There's a lot of names there that aren't underdogs. Like, just look at the entire list that we've already got there.
There's a lot of unknowns. Like there's some people making their debut in this, like Levi. You know, we don't know much about him at Win. You know, in terms of what he can do with the people we have. Obviously, I've done my research on him, watched videos of him, but he's not been in there with our guys. So it'll be good to see him in there. You know, the wrestling Newcastle people, see what he can do there. You know, he's an extraordinary talent. Got a good future ahead of him. You know, he's one of them guys where you look at him and you go, wow, if he does this right, he could end up somewhere. And again,
you haven't even mentioned Alexander Henry being in there.
Exactly. I'm just seeing him on that scroll there, and I'm like, and Alexander Henry's in there as well.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Mathers is in there, and he's got that extra support now, you know, in his corner, and
that'd be. I really couldn't do with Mark Mathers winning this either. Or Mark Mathers and Zero Knox, as long as they don't win it, that'd be pretty good.
One thing we do know, it's going to be a great, obviously, night and stuff like that, guys. Benji, obviously, we'll promote the upcoming shows as well. Obviously, we've got, like I said, Great North Rumble this week. Bulletproof's coming up, Settle the Score, Summertime Showdown 3, and of course, you're going back to the Adrian Legend Centre for Grand Slam.
Grand Slam 2, it's not on the poster, but it is Grand Slam 2 in Roman numerals as well. But yeah, we're going there. Tickets are on sale for Bulletproof now. The front row is like 65% sold out already. We've sold like numerous group of 4 tickets and stuff like that already. It's well underway, so don't hang around if you want to get tickets for that. And Grand Slam 2 tickets are on sale as well. And we've already started selling them, so they're going well. We've got big capacity, obviously, for Grand Slam. But yeah, they're all there. We want to make these things available as quick as possible so people have as long as they need to be able to pay for tickets. You know, we don't want to spring shows up on people, and you know, want everyone to be able to come to these.
100%. And of course, Rich, if anyone wants to watch any of those shows, they are on YouTube, right?
Yep. Always head over to YouTube and watch the lot. Like
all of them.
Yeah, just all of them.
And Grand Slam's coming.
Grand Slam, yeah, Grand Slam will be up tomorrow. So everyone has one day, you know, to get themselves caught up if you weren't at Grand Slam, you know, when you come into the Rumble. All of our events are always going to be recorded. They're always going to be for free, available on YouTube for the foreseeable future. We want to get our name out there, you know, more people to see Wrestling Newcastle. If you watch one of our events, you know, share it with your friends, you know, share it in groups, share it on social media, you know. Let's get more people watching and let's get bigger.
100%. I mean, Steve, obviously each show's around 2 hours except from Grand Slam, so it's only 2 hours of your time.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's short and sweet in a world where we've got these regular wrestling events lasting, you know, 3 hours a week, which is a bit ludicrous. Given I'm too old school, I'm afraid, but yeah, it's they're easy to watch. You know, 2 hours 15, 2 hours and a half, whatever it may be, but they're all on there on YouTube.
They're presented as sort of like TV wrestling as well. There's, you know, the run like one, you know, you've got shorter matches than you would generally have, where they all, you know, they all go somewhere. They're not just, oh, this will be a great match, you know, that sort of thing. They're very bingeable. They're only 2 hours.
So you can watch it all in the next 24 hours before Grand Slam's put on. So.
Could you?
Yeah. I don't think we'll ever be putting out on YouTube like individual matches. We'll always be putting full events out there. So yeah, the only way you can see these matches is by going on YouTube, watching our events.
Exactly. I mean, like I said, I've been to a few of these, and like I said, incredible. I mean, the Forest Hall is probably it's weird because watching it obviously online, it's like a small venue, but when you're there, it's massive, Stevie.
It's big, isn't it? It's
like me. Do you think it's big?
Yeah, I think it's
a lot of fans. You get a lot of fans in there, but I'm not sure if it's big.
I think it's packed.
It's packed. That's the
one.
But
when you look outside, it looks tiny. Well, I don't know what you thought. Yeah, definitely. And I think it looks really good on camera. Obviously, it's a boxing venue. They have the light above the ring. You know, we were talking about this earlier. Like, you know, with Win, I want to make it like affordable for everyone. You know, it's £10 a ticket, and if there's 4 of you coming, then it's, you know, you get £10 off essentially. We've got front row tickets. You know, if you want a reserve seat and like maybe you need one, you know, you can reserve your seat in the front row. And going forward, doing reserve second, because we have some fans who want to reserve a seat, but they don't want to sit front row, you know, but they still want a seat with a name on it. Because, you know, they might have difficulty getting the venue on time or whatever like that. But yeah, we're going to start doing seconds row seats, and they're still going to be a tenner. We're going to try and keep that price point so that everyone, you know, can enjoy wrestling. You know, I'm Carl Gack there. Can't wait to all them seats on Saturday. He does. Carl Gack, he is a workhorse. He's a workhorse. He's our hero. He is. He's. You need a job doing. Carl Gack will do that job. Yeah, getting back onto the point. That's the thing about with production and stuff. We don't really go high in production with the video screens and all that sort of stuff and the lighting. But Forest Hall has that inbuilt lighting because it's a boxing venue, and I think it looks awesome on camera. It looks really good. Hopefully we can get the Grand Slam to look as good as that for Grand Slam 2.
Exactly. So before we obviously do all that, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say we need a big 2 making.
A big what? A 2?
Big 2.
Yeah. What did you think of the letters? Did you like the letters?
The letters, didn't we?
I mentioned the letters. Do you like the letters, Liam?
Yeah.
Did you see the letters? Did you like them?
Yeah, of course I did.
Oh, cool, aren't they? Cool. I was buzzing off them letters when I seen them.
We did like the letters, didn't we?
Yeah.
We were going to set them on fire or something, weren't we? We were going to have pyro coming off them. And...
We're never setting them on fire.
No, I mean in a bad way. There was going to be an effect where they all exploded.
Yeah,
the only thing about the letters is
everyone, so we're going to set them on fire and then like just go all death match in front of everyone. So it's all right.
No, we don't do that, Rich.
The only thing about them letters is when Stevie came out, I nearly walked into I
did. It was a pratfall though. It was intentional. That, you know, it was like, oh, this I here, I'm going to give it some. But I'm surprised nobody didn't try to Irish whip somebody into the letters. We don't want that.
I'm glad they didn't, but I like those letters. It reminds me of old school wrestling, like when WCW used to have like it on the stage, or you know, Raw, when Raw used to have the letters. I thought
we need a big
letters.
What do you reckon to this message, by the way? This has just come up on the comments.
Oh,
he's called it.
Is that him? Is that the cake stacker?
Yes, it is.
Looks like he's
right on check. You can't cash cake stacker. You know, you got to pay that bar tab off here.
Is he got that? Have you got that design on a t-shirt? I do like that.
He does.
He does.
It's very cool.
Yeah. It is. So before we do our outro, Rich, do you want to plug this interview? Because I'm just going to click save and then it'll go live so people can go watch it.
On the one that we did yesterday.
Yes.
One you did.
Yeah. Head over straight after this one. We're going to be chatting all things refereeing and my journey so far. We obviously mentioned wrestling in Newcastle as well.
Yeah.
Do I get a mention though? Not wrestling like me, Benji. Do I get a mention?
Yes, you do.
So if you just want to say you have to go on and find out.
I think something from Insomnia. Check it out. Listen to Rich.
Cheers, mate. You both get a mention, so.
Oh well.
You mentioned that time when you jumped off the cage in Scarborough. Did you mention that?
I didn't mention that.
Didn't mention that.
In Scarborough, it wasn't even a wrestling match. It was just
me and Rich had a tag team cage match. Me and Rich is a tag team. Back in the day, we were a really good tag team.
Wow.
and we had a cage match with two big lads, like
Who was it?
Aaron Goodman and one of Joseph Connor's trainees at the time. I can't remember his name right now.
He was a big lad.
Yeah, I don't think he's a wrestler anymore, but he was a big lad. And I hit that 619 on both of them. Both fell down.
He retired after that.
Rich scaling that cage like Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like Macho Man Randy Savage was behind him. And he flew off that cage. Can't believe you mentioned that was like greatest moment you ever had as a wrestler.
Yeah, there's been some interesting ones. I didn't mention when Mr. Saint watched one of my matches back, didn't realise it was me, and he was absolutely appalled.
Johnny Saint. Johnny Saint, what do you think he's going to be like? I remember I got in the ring with him one time at Matty Jones and Johnny Saint seminar. He showed me a couple of things, and he moves really well for a man of his age. He wrapped me up pretty. Like
it was incredible. He watched another one of my cage matches, and he was like,
"How many cage matches have you had?"
Oh, we were really good at cage matches. We could jump off. We jumped off that cage night in, night out.
Yeah.
No fear.
Mr. Sim was like, just put a lid on it, lock it.
And how long have you been wrestling? How long have you been wrestling?
I probably only wrestled 18 months to 2 years.
Do you realise that we had a match with in 3CW? We booked Doug Williams in a cage match, and this is in 2006. This is Doug Williams when he's already wrestling for Pro Wrestling Noah and wrestling all over the world and whatnot. And he said, I've never been in a cage match before.
Well, we've probably been in more cage matches.
So Rich Swift has more experience than Doug Williams.
Yeah. Breaking news.
Trying to think of anything else that you might not have told them now.
Maybe we need to get part two.
Maybe next time me and Benji will come on, we'll just talk about us wrestling at that time. And I've just knocked all my kids' toys over here. So
didn't even mention the time that we beat up Gangrel.
in lucha masks.
Yeah, we wore masks so people didn't know our identities and couldn't,
So how do we know it was you? I mean, you could be just making this up now.
No, it could be, but we wore masks so we could hide our identities, so people didn't tag our families. And we fought Gangrel.
It's that unbelievable. We couldn't make it up.
No.
Yeah, that's true.
I tell you what, right? Later on in the year, I've got a thing called Show for Three. Why don't we bring all you three back on and just let you just rant at each other for an hour?
Well, that'd be fun.
Yeah, let's get that on. We'll just
rage. Rich is on call though. He might have to leave for something.
I'm on call right now.
You're on call right now. Oh, wow, it could happen at any point.
Richard's a fireman. Is that the right terminology?
How cool would it be if it went off now and I'd be like,
oh yeah, can we not just fake it like it does?
The funny thing is, what people don't realise, Rich doesn't live too far from me. How far from you? From me, are you, Rich?
15 minutes.
15 minutes in the car.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he could be pulling you out of a burning building.
He could.
Different services though. Different.
I'm by myself tonight, so that could happen. The wife's gone to see Strictly Come Dancing. I don't know why, but.
What?
Oh Jesus! No,
No, I know. She's not even a fan, but she's gone with a friend. So
how much is that? And how much is it for a ticket to see Strictly?
I don't know. I think a friend's treating her from what she's.
Is it more than £10 or?
Well, it will be.
Yeah,
it will be.
I mean, what? So
it's dancing in Newcastle. She's gone to.
And it's in Newcastle.
It's in Newcastle Arena.
Strictly Come Dancing in Newcastle, and she could have gone to wrestling in Newcastle.
Can she pay £5 at half time for her and any number of her friends to get in the ring and get a picture with someone from? I
don't think she can get half a pint for that at Newcastle Arena. I mean, no offense to Newcastle Arena. That's any arena in the country right now, by the way.
Do they do meet and greets as well? Because
do meet and greets. No.
Who do you want to meet from Strictly Come Dancing? I don't even know who's on it.
One that does this.
Maybe Claudia Winkleman.
Don't do that, Rich.
You're missing Claudia Winkleman. She'll be on now.
Oh, yeah, she'll be on.
Oh, yeah, I'm 12 minutes late. Right,
let's wrap this show.
If you come with 10 of your friends to our event, you only have to give us £5 and all 10 of you can get in the ring, get a picture with whoever's in there.
But not this Saturday because it's sold out.
Sold out, yeah. You have to buy them for the next event after that.
Yeah.
So don't miss out. Get tickets for the next one. Hurry up.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Who wants to do the outro for this show? And then I'll just roll the outro video. Anybody?
That's it. Done.
Ben? No? Should I go? Do you want to, Ben? No?
Go on.
You want me to?
Well, I pay you, right? I hype people up and
Okay.
Well,
it is this Saturday. It is the Great North Rumble. Who's going to win? 20 men. The winner gets a title shot, and who will be the champion after the cake stacker gets his hands finally on the champion? He's been champion for more than a year now. Wrestling Newcastle champion, coming off a big win against Shreddy, of course, controversial, but he is Brady Phillips, and that is one of your main events this Saturday. All of the matches could be main events. Shreddy getting his hands on Rampage Brown. Maybe we'll find out why Rampage did what he did. That and a whole lot more. Be there. Forest Hall Social Club. It's sold out, so you'll have to stay outside and wait for it to be uploaded on YouTube. So, but it's still worth coming along.
Yeah, let's roll the outro.